Thousands of students are facing disruption as staff at more than 50 universities join picket lines across the UK. It's part of a long-running dispute by members of the University and College Union over pay and conditions. The union that says more than 20,000 staff will be taking part. Let's go live now to our correspondent Tim Muffet, who's at Queen Mary University of London. Over to you, Tim.
Yeah, good morning to you. It's the beginning of Freshers' Week for many first-year students, and for a lot of them, this is the site which will greet them. This picket line outside Queen Mary University of London campus, and today marks the start of 5 days of industrial action at 42 university sites. At an additional 10 sites, there'll be 1 day of industrial action. Now, originally, the plan had been for industrial action at 140 university sites, but that has been significantly scaled back. Now, that's because a marking boycott, which was introduced in April, saw pay deductions taking place. And at many sites, more than 80, agreements have been reached over those pay deductions. And the marking boycott was called off a few weeks ago. But significant disruption today, as you were saying. This one of many places where picket lines are in place. Let's have a quick chat to James Eastwood. You're the co-chair of the UCU branch here, aren't you, James?
Yes.
Why have you decided to make what is a pretty significant step and man this picket line?
Well, we're in the context of a bigger campaign to defend pay and conditions in the sector, to make sure that staff are paid properly and that students have the learning conditions they deserve. But particularly here at Queen Mary, we're out because they've been deducting over 100 days of people's pay participating in the marking boycott over the summer. That's one of the most punitive responses in the country.
Now, the University and Colleges Employers Association says its offer, which is between 5 and 8%, is the highest of its kind in nearly 20 years. What do you say to that?
Well, I'd say that real terms pay in the sector has fallen 25% since 2009, and their offer, in fact, amounts to an 11% pay cut over 2 years with the cost of living crisis.
For many first-year students, this is going to be the first thing they see when they attend university. What do you think about that?
They should be angry. They should be rightly angry, and they should be angry at the management that refuses to negotiate with us, because there's an easy way out of this problem. They can agree to pay staff fairly, stop punishing staff, and we can all go back to work. But instead, this university has chosen to make this dispute about punishing staff rather than trying to find a better sector for everyone.
But for many people, and many parents who are dropping their children off at university, for example, given the disruption which the education sector has been through with COVID, for example, the marking boycott, which has now been lifted, this is surely the last thing they want to see. And don't you owe it to those students to fulfil your job requirements?
I think we owe it to students to fight for better working conditions in the sector, because ultimately our working conditions are their learning conditions. They want class sizes to be reduced. They want staff who are paid fairly and equally. They want staff on secure contracts who know they're going to be there year after year to have good contact with the students over a longer period of time. Instead, we've got a sector with declining working conditions and declining quality of teaching, and that's what we're trying to reverse.
How confident are you that this can be resolved?
I think it's going to be very difficult unless the universities see that they need to do something far more than they have done. We're going to be here until we finally get a deal that our members deserve.
Yeah, and there's a new ballot is going out, isn't it, in October?
That's right.
Because your strike mandate runs out then. So presumably you, unless something changes, you want a 6-month extension so you can call more strikes and create more disruption.
We're not going away until we get a fair deal for staff. So yes, that does involve reballoting. But let's not forget, the employers can come to the table at any time and sign a deal which sees no more disruption for students.
James, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks a lot
for talking to us today.
Bye-bye.
Now, the management here at the Queen Mary campus have given us a statement as well, which I'll just read out to you very briefly. It says that less than 1% of staff are currently taking industrial action, and it says that teaching and assessment is a priority, and it will withhold pay for staff who do not carry out those core activities due to industrial action. So that's a statement from the management here at Queen Mary University of London. But as you can see, the picket line, about 50 or so people here, and the same will be the case at 42 other sites, beginning of 5 days of industrial action, at 10 further sites, 1 day of industrial action.
Thanks very much, Tim. Tim Muffet there.